Right, fellas. Today I want to talk about how to finish 2023 strong. Some of you have fucked around this year. You talked a load of smack in the beginning, as we all do. This is my year and I'm going to make things happen. And look, I applaud the intention to do well. I applaud that. But what I don't like seeing is people not sticking to the goals that they set. You don't want to be known as the guy who talks a load of smack but doesn't back it up. You won't respect yourself in the process and other people won't respect you. You want to set a good example, especially if you're a father, to your kids. You want to show them that when dad says he's going to do something, he does it. Or at least he tries. And I'm going to talk about becoming results focused as opposed to only focusing on the goal itself. So I've got some points that I want to share here with you. Make sure you watch this entire video and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. So the first thing is get serious. Stop fucking around. Enough is enough. It's October, halfway through October. You've pissed this year down the drain. What are you going to do again next year and the year after? I mean, ask yourself, how do the last 3 years look? Are you genuinely proud of what you've accomplished over the last 3 years? And if the answer is no, Ali, I'm not, well then let me break it to you. The next 3 years will look exactly the same as the last 3. Unless, keyword unless, you do something about it. And I mean genuinely. You change what you do. You don't keep doing the same shit. And it all starts with getting serious. Enough's enough. You're a grown man. And I want my words to puncture your heart. I want them to hit home. I'm not here to talk a load of smack to you guys and, just motivate you for a day or so. No, I want you to take on board what I say and implement it in your life. Because I don't want you to keep seeing the same sort of outcomes. So get serious, man. Some of you, you're experiencing hard situations, difficult circumstances. The good news is, as Jim Rohn used to say, you are a human being. You're not a tree. You can move. You don't have to stay where you are. You can do something about it. But it all starts with you being sick and tired of being sick and tired. As they say, when the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain of change, only then can your life change. Right? Yes, the work is hard. There's a saying, being broke is hard and being successful is hard. Choose your hard. I didn't enjoy being broke. Not one bit. I didn't enjoy the humiliation when my card used to get declined repeatedly. When I was one problem away, one mechanical problem in my car away from a complete disaster. I didn't like how it used to feel. And it was self-imposed. It wasn't anybody else's fault. I knew that. I was stupid and I took accountability. It was my fault. I put myself in this bloody mess. Because that's what happens when you don't take your life seriously. You end up in a horrible circumstance. When you're deliberate and intentional, things work magically for you. Things start happening. But when you're like, why am I broke? Can I borrow some money, please, bro? And look, I used to be that guy, lending money out, never again. Quickest way to lose a friend. Or at least if I do lend money in the future, it won't be, something that I do because I want you to take the money and then pay me back. No, it will just be a case of here's the money, off you go. But even then, that's a last resort. Because it doesn't help you learn anything. It doesn't. When you struggle and you're on your own, yes, it may seem harsh that nobody wants to help you, but that's the best thing that could happen to you. Because you're supposed to experience that humiliation. How did I let myself? I can't even afford to eat. What's going on? Usually that's a result of you not taking yourself seriously. So that's the first point. Get serious. Enough's enough. The second point is plan your days. You don't want to be waking up not knowing what the fuck to do. I wonder what today brings. You should know what today brings. I'm not saying have a comprehensive 28-step routine. No. You know, when I see these corny YouTube videos of, I wake up at 3:45 a.m., I meditate, and it's like, motherfucker, you don't have to do that. Okay? And even a cold shower, you don't have to. Although, you know, there are some benefits, but, you know, stop focusing on things that are just surface level. I want you to focus on the things that make the real differences in your life. You know, for example, let me give you an idea of how I run my day. I focus on the things that make me money, the things that grow my business. Trading in the mornings, creating content, planning out my podcast episodes. And on top of that, another non-negotiable that I have is going to the gym, going to boxing, jiu-jitsu. These are things that I've promised myself I would do, regardless of how I feel. These are non-negotiables. As long as I've done these things, then I can then approach the other things in my day. For example, meditation. Although as a Muslim, I don't meditate, I pray. You know, some people may refer to prayer as meditation, but I believe it's two separate things. So once I've done the most important things, the rest of the day I can do whatever I want. Okay, I can then sit down and read a book. You know, I like the idea of sitting down and acquiring new information because, as I say, information changes situations. So I'm a big believer in that. But if all you do is read books, you're not going to improve your life. I was that guy once, a book whore. I had books everywhere. And in reality, I'd only ever read like, you know, a couple of chapters of one of them, and I had like a subscription going on. More books would be delivered, and I was like, man, I'm not reading shit. What's going on here? And it overwhelmed me as well because I'd receive more and more books, and I feel like guilt inside of me. So, you know, plan your day. Have 3 or 4 things. This is what I do in this journal here. 3 or 4 things that are absolute non-negotiables in my 6-minute diary that I have to do every single day, regardless of how I feel. Aside from that, I can then approach the other things. Number 3, execute fast. Stop sitting on ideas for too long. Paralysis by analysis is what they call it. When you overanalyze an idea. No, just execute on it, man. The action won't be perfect from the beginning. But you improve the way that you execute your tasks over time. In the beginning, when I started trading, I was a shit trader all over the place. No risk management, nothing. Over time, through rigorous back testing, I improved my ability to take positions in the market. When it comes to going to the gym, we've all been there. You're a skinny bastard. You're in the gym for the first time. You don't know what the hell you're doing. You look goofy, but that's all right. There should be no reason why you're ashamed of that because you're new. And one thing I want you guys to say, don't ever say, oh, this is difficult. It's hard. No, it's not difficult. It's new. You've never done it before. I said this to my little brother recently. He was like, is this business hard? I was like, well, nothing's hard. That's a limited way of thinking. Don't say things are hard because then you'll prevent yourself from trying them. That's your mind looking for a reason to not do it. It's difficult. Yeah, no, it's just hard. No, it's new. It may take some time, but eventually I'll get there. If I dedicate my time to it and I learn from the right people, I'll get there. All right? So execute quickly. Success loves speed. If you do not take action quickly, the law of diminishing intent will kick in, which states that the longer you take to do something, the less likely you are to do it. How many ideas have you had that are now buried, that you were passionate about at the time? Oh yeah, this is going to be great. But you never pulled the trigger on it, and it just fucking disappeared. They say the richest place is the graveyard because in the graveyard were so many songs that were never written. So many businesses that were never created, buildings that were never built. And they died with those people. So whatever ideas you have, execute on them quickly. Because if you do not, they will be buried with you one day. You could have been. You'll be that guy that could have built a nice building, that could have created a successful business, but he didn't take action quickly. That's what it is. And look, once you get going, it becomes a whole lot easier. You gain momentum. Once you have momentum, you're dangerous. You're hard to stop. But you just got to get going. The next step is review what you do at the end of each day. You know, once again, in this journal that I have at the end of each day, a few bullet points. I don't sit there writing paragraphs. You know, I'm realistic, guys. I know that if you make the task longer than it should be, your mind will look for reasons to not do it. That's just how we are as human beings. So there is an element of work smart. But I do believe also in working hard. Although journaling isn't really a hard task anyways. It's hard because it's easy, if that makes sense. There's a saying, what's easy to do is also easy not to do. So because it's a 5-6 minute activity, your mind thinks, well, you know. So it's hard to get yourself into the swing of it, into doing the little trivial mundane things if you've neglected them in the past. But once you get going, it will become second nature. It's like brushing your teeth. I mean, I certainly hope all of you guys are brushing your teeth at least twice a day. If you're not, mate, I mean, you need help, okay? The next point is alter your environment. If you want to finish this year strong, change your environment. Maybe the reason why you haven't taken action yet is because you're around people that are just lazy and they rub off on you. That's how it is. When you're around lazy people, they're so slow. You know, they'll talk about ideas and they'll take their time. But when you're around people that are flying out here, meeting this guy at this networking event, you know, scheduling podcasts, doing this, doing that, creating products, ordering, you know, prototypes, doing all sorts of stuff, you get inspired, man. You're like, man, I'm slacking. Right? So alter your environment. Look, I'm not saying if you have friends that are this way that you never see them again, but you may have to see them less often. If you want to finish this year off strong, communicate with them like an adult. Listen, guys, I'm busy. I've got a few things I'm doing this week. We'll catch up soon. And they should be understanding. If they start talking to you differently and, oh, you've changed, well, I have. Because I want to take myself seriously. I want what's best for me. And so I'm going to have to knuckle down. It's not anything against you. All right, so if they find it offensive, well, that's on them. That's their own insecurity that they need to address. Okay, the next point is an important one. Don't be overly attached to the outcome. So look, it's important to set goals. Of course it is. And we should strive to achieve those goals. But what's more important than getting the goal itself is the person you become in the process. Right, that's why Jim Rohn used to say, set a goal to be a millionaire for what it will make of you to achieve it. The man that you become in the pursuit is far more important. Because if you crumble when you don't get the goal itself, then you were never really doing it for the right reasons. You were only after the money. And you know how it is with money, guys. When you run after it, it runs away from you. When you focus on creating an environment that caters for success, money comes to you. It's interesting how it works. When I stopped focusing on watches, Lambos, things like that, I started to find that more and more things were working out for me. When I was only after those superficial things, I felt like I took one step forward, 3 steps back every time because I was doing it for the wrong reasons. Now, I don't have a Lambo yet, although if you would ask me what my favorite supercars were, I'd answer, actually would be here for a while, to be fair. I mean, I do like the SVJ. That is a monster of a car. I like the Ferrari Roma. That's a nice car. Aston Martin DB11. I know there's a DB12 now as well. Superleggera, by the way. The James Bond car. But anyways, that's a different topic, right? So don't be overly attached to the outcome. The results will come. Remember, success is looking for a good place to stay. Focus on creating as much value as possible. With value comes more compensation. The more valuable you become, the more money you will earn. The next point, and final point, is reward yourself along the way. You know, I used to have this toxic mindset of delaying happiness for a future date, not allowing myself to celebrate victory at all. I punished myself. It was a form of punishment. Looking back, it was unhealthy. I'd achieve something in business, I'd make my first £1,000 doing this, and I just didn't celebrate. Yeah, but that's not enough, man. You're still broke. And look, in a sense, yeah, of course, there's always more to achieve. But if you do not celebrate the wins along the way, you will become to resent your work and it will feel stale. When you celebrate, it helps you recharge and it makes you look forward to achieving more and more, especially when you celebrate with friends and family. It's a great feeling, man. I mean, look, none of these materialistic possessions and successes would mean anything if we have no one to share it with. If we're just being honest, if you were the only person on the planet and you had all the Lambos, all the Rolls Royces, trust me, it would mean shit. Absolutely nothing. Because there's no one around you to share that happiness with and that success with. So celebrate along the way. Do not delay your happiness for a future date. Let's all finish 2023 strong, man. Look, I'm an absolute optimist. Yeah, we make mistakes. But I don't want you guys to look back at the past, and just overanalyze it. No, learn from it, but don't live there. Keep moving. There's more to achieve. And you can make a new decision today that can completely alter the direction of your life. Great things are on the way. Keep moving, fellas. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a comment down below. It helps the algorithm. Give the video a like, and if you're new here, consider subscribing. See you boys in the next one.